Skírnismál, The Lay of Skírnir, Skírnir's Journey. Introductory note by Carolyne, Larrington. Freyr falls in love with a giant's daughter who he sees from Odin's high seat, Hlidskjálf. According to Snorri, his love sickness is a punishment for usurping Odin's place, though the poem does not suggest this. Freyr's concerned parents, Njord and Skadi. Afterward note, Skadi, the giantess, is not said to be Freyr's mother elsewhere. Loki claims that Freyr and Freya were born of the union between Njord and his sister in Lokasenna, an allegation which Snorri does not address. Freyr's concerned parents, Njord and Skadi, asked their son's old friend and servant Skírnir, Shining One, to help. Skírnir volunteers to go on a wooing mission, and after a remarkably smooth journey, effectively bullies the reluctant girl into agreeing to a rendezvous with Freyr. Snorri tells us in Yngling Saga that the pair married and had a son called Fjolnir, who was the ancestor of the Yngling dynasty of Norwegian kings, and that in handing his sword over to Skírnir, Freyr leaves himself weaponless at Ragnarok. Although the poem has no special connection with wisdom, it is composed mostly in Ljóðaháttr dialogue. Several scholars have thought that, with its succession of lively scenes, Skírnismál may well have been intended for dramatic presentation. Introductory note by Henry Bellows. The Skírnismál is found complete in the Codex Regius, and through stanza 27 in the Armangian Codex. Snorri quotes the concluding stanza. In Regius, the poem is entitled For Skirnis, or Skirnir's Journey. The Skírnismál differs sharply from the poems preceding it in that it is distinctively ballad quality. As a matter of fact, however, its verse is altogether dialogue, the narrative being supplied in the prose links. The dramatic effectiveness and vivid characterization of the poem seem to connect it with the Thrimskvitha, and the two may possibly have been put into their present form by the same man. Bug's guess that the Skírnismál was the work of the author of the Lokasenna is also possible, though it has less to support it. Critics have generally agreed in dating the poem as we now have it as early as the first half of the 10th century. Fenner Johnson puts it as early as 800, and claims it as usual for Norway. Doubtless it was current in Norway in one form or another before the first Icelandic settlements, but his argument that the thistle in stanza 31 is not an Icelandic plant has little weight, for such curse formulas must have traveled freely from place to place. In view of the evidence pointing to a Western origin for many or all of the Eddic poems, Johnson reiterated, Diktet sikkert norsk og ikke islendisk, is what's somewhat exasperating. Somewhere the Skírnismál was composed. It has been preserved in an exceptionally good condition, and seems to be practically devoid of interpretation or lacunae. Skírnismál. Freyr, the son of Njord, had sat one day in Hlidskjálf, and looked over all the worlds. He looked into Jotunheim, and saw there a fair maiden, as she went from her father's house to her bower. Forthwith he felt a mighty love sickness. Skírnir was the name of Freyr's servant. Njord bade him ask speech of Freyr. He said, Go now, Skírnir, and seek to gain speech from my son, and answer to win for whom the wise one is mightily moved. Skírnir spake, Ill words do I now await from thy son, if I seek to get speech with him, and answer to win, for whom the wise one is mightily moved. Skírnir spake, Speak prithee, Freyr, foremost of the gods, for now I fain would know, why sittest thou here in the white halls, days long, my prince, alone? Freyr spake, how shall I tell thee, thou hero young, of all my griefs so great? Though every day the elf beam dawns, it lights my longing never. Skírnir spake, the longings, methink, are not so large, that thou mayst not tell them to me. Since in days of yore we were young together, we two might each other trust. Freyr spake, from Gymir's house I beheld go forth a maiden dear to me. Her arms glittered, and from their gleam shone all the sea and sky. To me more dear than in days of old was ever maiden to man, but no one of gods or elves will grant that we both together should be. Skírnir spake, then give me the horse that goes through the dark and magic flickering flames, and the sword as well that fights of itself against the giants grim. Freyr spake, the horse will I give thee that goes through the dark and magic flickering flames, and the sword as well that will fight of itself if worthy hero wields it. Skírnir spake to the horse, dark is it without, and I deem it time to fare through the wild fells, to fare through the giant's fastness. We shall both come back, or us both together the terrible giant will take. Skírnir rode into Jotunheim to Gymir's house. There were fierce dogs bound before the gate of the fence, which was around Gerðr's hall. He rode to where a herdsman sat on a hill and said, tell me, herdsman, sitting on the hill and watching all the ways, how may I win a word with the maid past the hounds of Gymir here? The herdsman spake, art thou doomed to die or already dead, thou horseman that ridest hither? Barred from speech shalt thou ever be with Gymir's daughter good. Skírnir spake, boldness is better than plaints can be for him whose feet must fare. To destined day has mine age been doomed, and my life span thereto laid. Gerðr spake, bid the man come in, and drink good mead, here within our hall. Though this I fear, that there without my brother's slayer stands. Art thou of the elves, or the offspring of gods, or of the wise wains? How camest thou alone through the leaping flame, thus to behold our home? Skírnir spake, I am not of the elves, nor the offspring of gods, nor the wise wains, though I came alone through the leaping flame, thus to behold thy home. 11 apples, all of gold, here will I give thee, Gerðr, to buy thy troth, that Freyr shall be deemed to be dearest to you. Gerðr spake, I will not take, at any man's wish, these 11 apples ever, nor shall Freyr and I one dwelling find, so long as we two live. Skírnir spake, then do I bring thee the ring that was burned of old with Odin's son. From it do 8 of like weight fall on every 9th night. Gerðr spake, the ring I wish not, though burned it was of old with Odin's son. In Gymir's home is no lack of gold, in the wealth my father wields. Skírnir spake, seest thou, maiden, this keen bright sword that I hold here in my hand? Thy head from thy neck shall I straightway hew, if thou wilt not do my will. Gerðr spake, for no man's sake will I ever suffer to be thus moved by might, but gladly, methinks, will Gymir seek to fight if he finds thee here. Skírnir spake. Seest thou, maiden, this keen bright sword that I hold here in my hand? Before its blade, the old giant bends. Thy father is doomed to die. I seek thee, maid, with my magic staff, to tame thee to work my will. There shalt thou go, where never again the sons of men shall see thee. On the eagle's hill shalt thou ever sit, and gaze on the gates of hell. More loathsome to thee than the light-hued snake to men shall thy meat become. Fearful to see, if thou comest forth, Hrungnir will stand and stare. Men will marvel at thee. More famed shalt thou grow than the watchmen of the gods. Peer forth from thine prison, rage and longing, fetters and wrath, tears and torment are thine. Where thou sittest down, my doom is on thee, of heavy heart and double dole. In the giant's home shall vile things harm thee, each day with evil deeds. Grief shalt thou get in still gladness, and sorrow to suffer with tears. With 3-headed giants thou shalt dwell ever, or never know a husband. Let longing grip thee, let wasting waste thee. Be like to the thistle that in the loft was cast and there was crushed. I go to the wood, and to the wet forest, to win a magic wand. I won a magic wand. Odin grows angry. Anger is the best of the gods. Freyr shall be thy foe. Most evil maid, who the magic wrath of gods hast got for thyself. Give heed, Frosters, hear it, giants, sons of Suttung, and gods ye too, how I forbid and how I ban the meeting of men with the maid, the joy of men with the maid. Hrungnir is he, the giant who shall have thee in the depths by the doors of hell. To the frost giants' halls each day shalt thou fare, crawling and craving in vain, crawling and having no hope. Base wretches there, by the root of the tree, will hold of thee horns of filth. A fairer drink shalt thou never find, made to meet thy wish, made to meet thy wish. I write thee a charm, and 3 runes therewith, longing and madness and lust. But what have I writ? I may yet unwrite, if I find a need therefore. Gerðr spake. Find welcome, rather, and with it take the frost cup filled with mead, though I did not believe that I should so love ever one of the wains. Skírnir spake. My tidings all must I truly learn ere homeward hence I ride. How soon thou wilt with the mighty son of Njord a meeting make. Gerðr spake. Barri there is, which we both know well, a forest fair and still, and 9 nights hence to the son of Njord will Gerðr there grant delight. Then Skírnir rode home. Freyr stood without and spoke to him and asked for tidings. Tell me, Skírnir, ere thou take off the saddle or farest forward a step, what hast thou done in the giant's dwelling to make glad thee or me? Skírnir spoke. Barri there is, which we both know well, a forest fair and still, and 9 nights hence to the son of Njord will Gerðr there grant delight. Freyr spake. Long is 1 night, longer or 2. How then shall I bear 3? Often to me has a month seemed less than now half a night of desire.